Okay, now I think we're officially live. Fuck! No!
Are we just talking to ourselves for like...
Yes! For like 20 minutes! Ah!
Okay. Okay.
I hate it when I do that!
This is a certified fat shark moment.
This is a certified fucking VTuber moment. This is like, what, the third time, fourth time I've forgotten to go live? And like, every time I do, it's just the worst fucking feeling in the world.
I can't even imagine that must be so...
Like,
oh, jeez.
I have actually...
It happens.
Unironically, I have had moments in streams before where I just go the entire stream, and it's a really good stream. I go to, like, turn the stream off, it never even started.
Oh, damn. I couldn't even, like, I would feel like I just wasted a bunch of time and I'd go sulk and eat ice cream or something.
I know, and it's
that's
like...
that's why I handle my problems.
And the thing is, like... It's something that I, like, plan ahead of time so people can be here, and of course with a guest like you here, people want to be here. So it's like, I'm not even just being an idiot by myself. It's not like I'm wasting my time, I'm wasting everyone's time. I'm letting people down.
You let yourself down. You let your clan down. You let your country down.
I let my Primarch
most
down.
Importantly,
I let my
you let
Primarch
me down. Yeah, you just... Why it would be easier to name the people you aren't laying down at the moment. Which is a list that consists of, I guess the Ogrins, because they're not intelligent enough to know when they're being let down, so I guess you're out there.
No, I think Ogrin can feel disappointment. I mean, if they don't get their rations for doing a good job, I think they'll feel disappointed.
Yeah, but this is more like a delay. They're getting the rations. So they still got their rations eventually, but like just after like half an hour of sitting there and doing nothing. It's
you think
like
Ogrin you think Ogrin have like ADD, or do you think that like because they are so blockheaded that they just let eons pass, just sitting still like a brick?
No, Hey, that guy in the chat is roasting me. He's questioning my choice of weapon.
I guess the chat isn't updated for me, because the last thing I see is Shadow Wizard Penance Gang.
Oh no, it's in the in-game things. One of the guys we're playing with.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. What was he saying?
He's saying that my shotgun is a bad choice for this game mode.
Which shotgun are you using? Hello, idiotic.
No, I just said shotgun at all, but I'm using like the default one.
I am crushed. I am crushed because I accidentally forgot to start stream. By the way, for those of you who are wondering what we were talking about, we were talking about which Primarch to bring up next. And we were also talking about how the Golem game could have been good, and I feel like the narrative would have gone a lot better if they made the game, like, when they started the game when Golem found the ring. And, like, the whole story is just his descent into madness. By the way, can you pop your ability?
Oh, it's on cooldown.
Oh.
I noticed now that there is a fog. There is a substantial fog.
Bones ring got destroyed with all his views. Yeah. And we were talking about it. That game. So
the easiest thing to do would just not be make a game about Golem, you know. But
I mean, if what we were exploring before was true, and we could like explore like Smeagol's evolution to Golem, I think that could be a compelling story. Because we have like a hero's journey for a character.
But you're just like, there are lots of easier Lord of the Rings characters to make a game about. That like, because like I think with the Golem game you have to, like, it could be good, but you're giving yourself a lot of legwork. Whereas, like, I don't know, you could make a game about, I don't know,
Aragorn?
Prince Imrahil or it's a rights thing too, I guess, because they only have. I think this rights package is only for the books, so they couldn't include stuff like from the films. Which you're already fighting an uphill battle because all the depictions in the films are so iconic.
Plus, I've heard, but I don't understand fully that Gollum, or not Gollum, fuck, I'm too busy trying to see if there's enemies nearby. Bomber. Yeah, that the Tolkien family, like, first and foremost, the Tolkien family hated the Peter Jackson movies. And...
yeah, Christopher Tolkien really did not like those.
And for some reason, they have this, like, iron grip, like, hold on the copyright, and that's part of the reason why, what was that fucking shitty Amazon show called? So forgettable. The Ring of Power, something like that?
Rings of Power!
Rings of Power? Apparently the
Yeah.
reason why it was so inaccurate was because they were only allowed a few pages of the Silmarillion.
Yes, because what they did is, I think they only had rights to the 3 main books, and the only information in those books about the time period Rings of Power is set in is in the appendices. So it is literally like a couple of pages worth, and they didn't have a lot to go on, so, yeah. Possibly not the greatest decision in the world, you know, to make that show if you only have that much to go on, but...
Thing is though, I feel like probably either someone higher up didn't understand that, or like they realized it too late. It's like, shit, we're already casting people.
Yeah,
what do we
I
do?
saw someone say that, like, they bought the rights to it thinking that they got the rights to the movies, and then, like, something like that. I mean, it sounds like nonsense, but stranger things have happened. Like, when Microsoft bought, I think it was Rare, they bought Rareware and they thought they got Donkey Kong with that. Like, they thought they could make Donkey Kong games now, but that's not how that works.
Remember when, I think it was Universal, tried to sue Nintendo over Donkey Kong? What shotgun are you using?
Oh, yeah, because... like, the regular one, the not flamey one and the not slug one, just the regular old...
The Lawbringer?
one. I can't remember any of their names, I'm sorry.
I'm pretty sure the OG one is called the Lawbringer. Also, I don't know how much of a gun nerd you are, but have you noticed that the shotguns in this game, they are technically semi-automatic, but when you, like, reload, it pumps?
Huh. I never thought about that, but yeah, that's an oddity.
But here's the thing. That works. I'm sure you've heard of a shotgun by the name of the Spaz 12.
Yes, I have.
Yeah, it's the gun from Half-Life, except it doesn't shoot 2 shots at once when you right-click. So yeah.
I can't believe video games would lie to me.
So, the Spaz 12, the idea with it is... So, do you understand how you can make a shotgun semi-automatic in the first place? Or, like, how any modern semi-automatic weapon works?
Like, roughly, it's, some sort of gas-powered whatchamajigger
So,
that moves the little doodads up.
Okay, so the way it works is... obviously, when a bullet is ignited, the powder creates, like, an expanding gas. So, right before the end of the barrel, there's, like, a side valve, usually on the top, and if you actually look closely on AK and you see this little weird tube on top of the barrel, that's the gas valve. So, it takes the pressure of that, just a little bit of pressure from the bullet, and it uses it to, like, cycle the next bullet. Now, the thing about, though, is you have to, like, it can't be too much pressure or else it'll explode. It can't be not enough pressure or else it won't cycle and the gun will jam. The thing with shotguns, though, is that they are very versatile and there's different kinds of shells with different kind of, like, powder. So the reason why so many shotguns are still pump action is because gas-powered can only handle, like, certain, like, intensity. So the Spaz 12 is interesting in that it has like a switch that you can flick that turns it semi-automatic and pump action.
Neat.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's why it's one of my favorite shotguns. It's like, it's both. And I guess that's what shotguns in 40k are supposed to be, which makes sense when you consider
This has
that...
been firearm facts.
And it does make sense when you consider, like, how, in Darktide, the shotguns all have different, like, special ammunition types. So it's a little neat attention to detail that you wouldn't understand if you weren't a gun nut.
And people say Fat Shark or lazy. The weapons guys knocked it out of the park. It all feels great.
Brian says, say the line, DreadAnon.
Which line? I've got so many.
I think that's the point of the joke.
There's so many lines. Hey man, I've got a whole bunch of jokes. So I've got more jokes than you can shake a stick at. I'm just, you know, I'm always coming up with funny witticisms to put in my videos so that people can watch them for entertainment purposes. So the next time you tell me to say a line, you better specify which line, Buster.
Actually, question: is there
Unless you
is there like a very
in which case, shut up.
question? Is there a specific piece of like 40k lore that like is never explained, but everyone always questions whether or not it's true? Like that one holy grail of Games Workshop just never explained it.
Can you think of anything like that?
Space Marine reproductive capability, I think, is one.
Oh yeah. They're tight-lipped on certain subjects.
And whether or not the Emperor intended to create female Space Marines.
It's all moot anyway, because the Rule 34 artists have that covered.
But the reason why I bring this up is video idea.
Didn't account for that, did he?
The reason why I bring up is video idea. Watcher in the Dark explains obscure thing about Warhammer lore that everyone wants to know.
Hey, no, that's a pretty good idea. I'll steal it and post it without credit.
Be my guest. Actually, I made sure to get the picture of the thick trapper waifu, the permission to use that from the artist. Because I don't want to be that guy. I think I might have done that once or twice when I first started streaming, but I decided, no, I'm not going to be that guy. Or at least I'm going to try not to be that guy.
I wish to avoid being that guy also, but sometimes you forget and
okay,
you don't
is this mission fucking bugged or
forgotten.
something? We've been here for a very long time.
I think it is, yeah. I think a guy in the chat. In 5 minutes, it will go further. Okay. So I guess we just have to stand around. Riveting gameplay! By game developer extraordinaire, Fat Shark Interactive.
Apparently there's no size for the... Oh, you know what you should do? You should make it like a compilation of like... It's like Warhammer facts with Watcher in the Dark. And it's just a bunch of things, because the player 920s says Imperial Titan size is unknown.
They're big, trademark. So that's that covered.
Or when the 42nd millennium is gonna come, or whatever.
I know a thing or two. I know a thing or two about Warhammer lore, and I happen to know that Imperial Knights and Titans are indeed big. So
I can't press
hire me,
space
Games Workshop. I know you're saying like the back of my hand. I even know how many rounds are in a standard bolter magazine? And the answer is just enough to be inconvenient when you're playing a video game that has a bolter in it.
But you don't think Space Marine's bolter had enough ammo?
But yeah, but it's always the trade-off, you know, because I don't think the Space Marine bolter felt powerful enough. Whereas the bolter in Darktide feels great, but I don't think I question its validity as a battlefield weapon because it runs out of ammunition after one burst.
Well, that's why you don't burst.
Conversely,
that's why aiming down sights.
You gotta.
By the way, did you know that with the bolter in this game, when you aim down sights, you can actually see the fire mode selector switching?
Whoa! This is a certified fat shark moment.
Yeah.
In a good way.
But yeah.
For once.
Right below the iron sight, you see this like orange light, and there's like a little meter on it, and when you aim it down sights, the meter switches from left to right. It's like
fascinating.
I know. Anyways, what was I gonna say? I forget. It'll come back to me.
I see we are still all by our lonesome. Our compatriots have not showed.
Sadly, no. Maybe they did get the date or the time wrong. But their links are in the description regardless.
What happens?
Oh, here's a new mission. How much time do we have? 18 minutes. Okay, good. I'm gonna go to the bathroom real quick. BRB.
Okay. I'll see you in a bit, or I will hear you in a bit, because I don't see you because you're just in a disembodied voice. Howdy, chat. I run this ship now during bathroom breaks. I command all of you to say something funny. Oh, a right knee slapper that one was. Oh my god, everyone's a comedian! All's eyes knows is, if I had some pauldrons, I would cut out a little bit so I could hold my gun better. Although, much like with Titans, pauldrons are as big as the artist wants them to be, because some look, you know, kind of reasonable, and then others look like, how does that man scratch his nose? Or indeed, hold objects? No, but I just steal jokes from other people, so I'm no true comedian. It's like, you know, I need someone to leech off of, and if none of you guys are funny, then I'm not going to be funny. So, the dream has, at long last, died, and I gotta go back to working in the warehouse for company script to support my wife and 17 children. And none of us want that, do we? We all want we all want to co-spy making YouTube videos. We don't want to have to go back to the mines or the warehouse or any of the places, assorted places of work, because we don't like them, and also because it's kind of hot out. I don't want to be in the salt mine when it's hot out. What's the deal with Space Marines? They're not in space, and they're not Marines! You know what? Michael Richards' meltdown when he's getting heckled. You know, I'll do that, but with Space Marines and like, there's an orc comedian on stage or something. I might change. I might tone down the language slightly to be less inflammatory. But no, there is no water in space. Although I did look up once that on planets with water on them, there is like an actual naval presence. You know, with like boats and ships and stuff. So it's not all in space.
Makes sense.
Although saying that, I can't imagine any instance in which a spaceship would not do a job better than a regular ship. So I don't know what they're doing. I guess ships are cool, but you can't just go to your... We're talking about space, and how there ain't no water in space, so you can't have no marines in space, and you therefore cannot have space marines. So the entire setting is invalid, and I no longer wish to be associated with it, which is why I'm making a hard swerve to BattleTech, rebranding myself as Mechanon, and talking about, you know...
I feel like if you're gonna call yourself anything, Mechanon is a little too, like, it's a little too on the nose, because, like, okay, there's a variety of mechs. It's like, because a Dreadnought is a very specific type of equipment, or, like, vehicle or machinery in 40k, right?
Yeah, I guess so. I gotta familiarize myself more with the lore.
Oh, I now have an idea.
I made some headway, but there's still a lot more to go.
How about this Mad Anon, like the Mad Cat?
Yeah.
Mad Cat being...
And then I could roll up...
The Mad Cat being, like, one of the most famous mechs in the setting. Although, it's technically called the Timberwolf, but the Inner Sphere calls it the Mad Cat.
See, that's the kind of multi-layered world building you can only get with BattleTech, available now at your local hobby store, while stocks last. Games Workshop, who? Warhammer 40k, who? I don't even know what that is. This is what's going to happen if I ever try and, like, muscle my way into an official project and they say no. I'm just gonna delete all my videos and rebrand as like a BattleTech guy, just out of spite, and destroy my career in the process.
If there's one thing I respect, it's people doing things purely out of spite. Alright, so this is the new map.
I ain't going back to the salt mines. I'll tank Games Workshop with the power of my DreadAnon.
What do you mean? You visit TG often. What do you mean you're not going back to the salt mines?
Oh! Well done. Although, I don't know. I also go to TV, and I'd say they complain about stuff a lot more than TG does.
I have to agree. Then again,
so I'm well
then again, part of that has to do with the fact that, like, TG is very much under the philosophy of if you don't like it, make it yourself. Which is easier to do when everything is just, like, on a PDF document that you can just edit. Like, you don't like new Warhammer rules, make your own. Just play your own with your friends.
I'm gonna make my own homebrew setting with Space Marines and Dreadnoughts. In fact, forget the Dreadnoughts.
By the way, I remember what I was gonna ask. Have you played Bolt Gun yet?
Yes, I have played Bolt Gun. Although, I'm only like a couple hours into it because, like, every time I play a boomer shooter, my eyes start to hurt. Because I, like, instinctively stop blinking. And I don't know what that's about. I think it might be some sort of undiagnosed medical problem. Because every time I play, like, Doom or Proteus or Metal Hellsinger, it's like, I stop blinking. Because I want to keep track of everything that's happening, but then my eyes start to hurt. And I should probably go outside more and touch some grass, but...
Oh, by the way, this was something I was going to announce too, so as of yesterday, or the day before, like last night, I am now no longer a semi-basement dweller, or a basement dweller in title only. I am now streaming from my room, which is now moved 2 flights of stairs downward. So I am...
basement build?
So it's like, I now live by my battle station, and already my mom's very scared. She's like, you know you can lie on the couch upstairs too, because I know you like doing that, and she just reminded me because she's worried.
Oh, that's nice though. That's nice. You know, we don't. She doesn't want you becoming a neat.
I mean, I am a neat.
A basement dwelling neat. Oh,
Just
well,
want
you know, you can either be a neat and live like a normal life, or you can be a basement dweller but like go to work or something. You can't.
Doesn't want me to develop like a. Oh, what was Conrad's planet called? It's not Nocturne.
Oh, so it's something really edgy. I think. Someone in the chat will know, because...
Honestly, it should, like...
I don't know every...
If you're gonna call that plant anything, why not call it Nocturne? It's the most perfect name. So...
There already is a Nocturne! That's a totally different
Nostromo. Nostromo. Yeah, it's like, Nostromo. I'm gonna be like...
Yeah, that's not edgy, what was I thinking of? Trapper, my beloved.
I don't know. But, yeah, I'm just gonna turn into a fucking hive ganger from Nostromo. It's like I have these incredibly gigantic fucking mutant eyes. And, like, light is pain. It's like that one very old Meat Canyon animation where he's like, "Put me back. I do not wish to be in the light."
Oh, man.
But yeah, so the reason why I got moved... The reason why I got quarantined to the basement... is because my sister is getting serious renovation done at her house. And she needs somewhere for my nephew to go, so... And you can't...
Understandable.
Apparently, you can't have, like, a baby, or I guess he's a toddler now, in the same room as the adult. Like, you have to have a specific separate room for the baby. So, they're going to sleep in my sister's old room, which was right next to mine, and my room is going to be the baby's room.
I see, I see. Everyone's switching around rooms like some sort of property musical chairs.
Yes. And I'm probably going to stay down here because...
Yeah. It's not this day.
I'm probably going to stay down here, though, because I don't want to move 2 old hardwood dressers again. And in case you're wondering why I have 2, I'd like to remind you...
understandable.
In case you're wondering why I have 2, I'd like to remind you that I'm a Knuckle V, and... Like, just the mass of clothes I have compared to a regular human is a lot.
I have, like, 3 outfits I cycle between depending on the weather. So I cannot relate to this.
You know what?
I respect your life choices.
The one thing that COVID has changed is my ability to dress myself properly and bathe regularly is something that COVID has robbed me of.
See, you're not a total lost cause, you know, because you're not like a neat who, you know.
I'm a Knuckle of V, James. I'm a Knuckle of V. Yeah. See this horse head with the one eye? That's my lower torso.
He's an aquatic creature from Scottish folklore.
Yep. And apparently I am a fairy.
Kind of. It's all obviously there is no definitive source for any of this stuff. It's all up in the air.
Yeah,
because that's just how they roll.
For my during my anniversary stream, wherein I did a 6-hour-long endurance stream, I had a friend of mine who is Irish, and he was spending time talking about like Irish folklore, and it's kind of interesting. Like, apparently, the underworld in Ireland is basically just. It's sort of like that one SCP on London, where it's just like, it's literally just Ireland, but underground. And that's where, like, fairies live.
Yeah,
I'm down. And I got a mauler on me.
Yeah, I'm down too. And I also have a mauler on me. Snap! See, fairies in popular culture have sort of a different connotation from Irish culture, because in Irish culture, they're just, like...
Scary.
Guys. You know, they're just, like... No, they're just like people who happen to live underground and be immortal and usually good looking, but they're just like people.
But they're also like
um,
they're also just straight up fucking evil, right? Because they are like a subtype of demon.
Sometimes there's a delightful Irish mythological tale called the Wooing of Etienne, and in the Wooing of Etienne, a fairy called Meir tricks a local king into sleeping with his own daughter as punishment for stealing his wife.
Question: aren't fairies supposed to be small though? Aren't they supposed to be like?
No, they're just guys. That's the whole conceit of the story, because like the king can't tell apart his daughter from one of the fairies, so he gets her to serve tea, and his daughter he brought up his daughter serving tea in a particular way, or not tea, like ale or something. They didn't have tea yet, but
yes, because colonialism didn't exist yet.
Well, but it kind of did, because the fairies would allege that. Well, the fairies would allege that the Irish colonized Ireland, but honestly, none of it's real. And we don't have to get angry.
Okay.
On behalf of anyone.
I got the next big X conspiracy. All right, and that is that the British are fairies, and that they tried to gaslight the Irish.
I guarantee you, someone on X has already come up with that, because.
And that the entire idea is to gaslight the Irish into thinking they're not from there.
I mean, there is kind of like there was this like 19th century school of thought called British Israelism, where the British, it was the belief of certain esoteric thinkers that the British were Israelites, and like that, of course, entitled them to steal everyone else's land because they were God's chosen people. And then it's like you read people's proof for this, and it's always like, oh, this English word kind of sort of sounds like this Hebrew word if you squint a bit.
Okay, you want
proof.
Okay, so there is a video I watched recently that was talking about like Russian like not contemporary but like old Russian politics, like from the Soviet era. And there was this one Soviet thinker who straight up was tasked to, like, create some sort of propaganda on why they are an empire. And you know what he came up with? Mongol sun magic.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
So, according to this whack job, I forget his name. But, like, yeah, he was trying to, like, find this, like, way of, like, explaining, Russia as an empire, but not as an empire, but also, why Bolshevism and communism is good. And he talked about... So, here, let me give you the red pill on the truth behind the Roman Empire. So, the Roman Empire became so powerful because the entire civilization, the entire ethnicity of Rome, was blasted by, like, a solar flare, which blessed them with, like, Ubermensch genes or whatever. However, the sun magic would fade away eventually, and that's why the Roman Empire fell. And centuries later, the Mongols would also inherit this from a different solar flare. And it is because they basically non-conned the Russian people that the magic is now within the Russian genome. And also, there's more. The reason why Russian people are superior is because they did not develop sea travel, and they did not... By the way, this guy was very anti-Semitic, because he, like...
Oh, no way, really?
Yeah, he was talking about how, like...
You can pick any, like, weirdo from the 19th century.
Yeah, pretty much. But, like, basically his whole justification for things... Oh, is that what I think it is?
Whoop, Chaos Spawn. Yeah, it's the new one.
Interesting. Oh shit, he grapples you. That's interesting.
Oh my god, he's juggling me.
What am I doing? I have boxes. So anyways, going back to this, so the Russian people lived in a very harsh climate, which did not allow for sea travel. So instead they developed to live in a hard, brutal environment, and that's why they are superior. And it's also why they're more earnest, because they never resorted to trade, and by trade leads to, you know, a certain ethno-religious subgroup.
Here it comes.
It's oh god, these kinds of conspiracy theories are so fun. Oh, speaking of, I showed DreadAnon this old video from the old McBeardia channel. The fall of Barad-dûr was an inside job, which has to be one of my favorites. Actually, you know what you should do, Dread? You should reach out to McBeardia.
What? Oh, maybe, 'cause, like, this is such a small country that someone I know probably knows them. Because that happens every time I encounter someone from these.
Like, not even that.
Neck of the woods.
Just message them
like,
and
at least one friend in common.
just message them and say, "Hey, can I read a green text or something?" It's like you're a big channel.
Yeah, maybe we'll have to.
I think that would be the collab of the century.
Let us undertake
Not
a
really.
mutual enterprise.
Like that would be
Maybe,
pretty
yeah.
good. That would be Kino.
No, I remember the first time I
Fucking dog.
the first time I watched one of their videos, it was like, hey, that accent sounds familiar. Oh, that's
I'm
my
down.
accent.
There's a dog, by the way. I need
I feel
Medicaid
like
badly.
Martin in that one episode of The Simpsons where Nelson is bodyguarding him because I think they're in Shelbyville, and Martin says, "Spring forth, Billy Protector, and save me." That's how I feel with all these Ukrains helping me up.
Are you a big Simpsons fan? I don't think I ever figured that out.
Well, you know, I'm like everyone else. I like the early stuff, and then it lost me a bit.
And I am
although,
dead.
I've seen some clips from like more recent. Oh no, really?
Yeah. That was my last
Yeah, no,
one.
I've seen some. We'll find you. Don't worry.
Yeah, those kinds of conspiracy theories are just... It's just something about them where it's like, you can't even be offended, they're just too ridiculous. Like, there's like a certain, like, I guess it's like a bell curve, sort of, or like an uncanny valley thing, where there's like just this sort of drop-off point where it becomes so offensive, it just... You reach a homeostasis with it.
I'm sure it's probably a bit scarier if you're like Jewish or something and you get like stabbed by someone who believes in Mongol sun magic. You know, that's not the greatest way to go out, I don't think.
But that would imply being in Russia
I
and...
personally... Well, there's a whole, I mean, famously the Russians did not treat their Jewish population very well.
Nope. I mean, to be fair, they didn't treat their own population well.
Well, no country in history has treated the Jewish population very well. So
Plus, Russia didn't even treat their own population well.
yeah, they didn't treat the Tuvans well. They didn't treat the Siberians well. They didn't treat the Tatars well. Sometimes they didn't even treat the Russians well.
By the way, I made this mistake too. It's Tatars or Tatars. I mean, I spelled it Tartar, and people
they're
were like,
both exonyms.
I know. It's just people were
No,
poking
but they're
fun
both
at me.
exonyms that like people. They don't call themselves Tatar or Tartar. You know, so if I'm gonna be ignorant, I'll be ignorant in my own way.
Fair enough.
If I'm gonna grip dozens
Based
of
add-on.
different ethnic groups.
Based add-on.
If I'm gonna group dozens of different ethnic groups together and give them a name that they don't call themselves, by gum, I'm gonna say whatever one I want. Although I feel bad about it, and if there are any people of
Based add-on,
Tatar extraction listening
the most
to this,
base.
I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry. I'm so sorry for combining the historical suffering that your people have suffered.
Yes, the based Anon, the most base Englishmen.
Hey! 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 Hey, no! We were just messing around, but you had to go too far.
I'll still forever, like, hate myself for confusing the Irish and Scottish accent in your presence.
Do you know what? It's an easy mistake to make, unless you happen to be from one of these countries.
So, what is the fine difference?
Mostly that we sound completely different, but apart from and speak different languages, but apart from that, you know, it's identical.
But like, what are the tells?
No. Well, it's hard for me to say because I come from like the north of Ireland and we have quite a Scottish sounding accent. But if you hear someone with a Southern Irish accent speak and then you hear someone with a Scottish accent speak, I think the difference is pretty stark. So, like...
I mean, it could just be confusing Irish, Northern Irish, and Scottish, because until just a few seconds ago, I know there was a difference between Northern and Southern Irish.
Well, there you go. We're a small country of a few million people, so I don't expect everyone to know everything about us, so, you know, I don't take it too hard. There's always there's stuff I don't know.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling because I'm fucking Canadian, and it's like nobody knows anything about Canada.
Yeah, there you go.
At one point, I decided I want to know what the Japanese think about Canada, and one of the first things they talk about is maple syrup, Justin Bieber, and that's what really made me cringe. And apparently, one of the most Canadian things that like a completely different culture like Japan thinks is there's just nothing but wilderness everywhere. Which I never even really considered that, but it's like, yeah, Canada's basically empty and it's full of forests and shit.
Yeah. You know, it's a big old place and most of it's full of like ice and polar bears. And
the polar bears are starting to the polar bears are starting to breed with grizzlies.
Yeah, to make growler bears, which is the most awkward name anyone has ever given anything ever.
What about Pisley?
I think it's just my accent. It's quite hard to say. Pisley. Well, Pisley sounds terrible, but growler is just like it catches on my tongue. I can't get it out. It's like particularly. I can't say the word particularly.
It sounds like you're kind of saying granola.
That's my granola bears. Like granola bars shaped like bears to make them fun and palatable to children. They'll never be animal crackers, though. Animal crackers would be. Oh my, so many ranged enemies!
What is it this time?
Yeah.
Yeet!
God fucking damn it!
My rescue attempt has failed.
I'm here.
I found myself on the floor.
I'm stonewalling him.
See, everyone rocks on the shield open, but it's useful for situations like this.
And for fucking...
Oh lord! Oh lord in heaven!
Oh no, it's your waifus! I got hit by both your waifus!
No! No! Ladies, please!
By the way, for those of you who don't know, last time, or like, the last time we did, Darktide with DreadAnon, or the time before that, he admitted he found the Trapper kinda hot. And then on a separate...
It's the voice!
It's the...
She has a nice voice!
Ah, yes, the voice of sandpaper cigarettes.
Hey, man. You keep your stupid comments in your pocket, bro.
Someone please deal with these snipers. Someone please deal with these snipers. I think the big difference between England
I
is
sense that things have not gone well.
Yep.
Rip. We died. We died because we're bad at the game.
What the hell does rhotic mean?
Oh, that's like an R. When you pronounce an R, it's like, so most English dialects are non-rhotic, which means...
Yeah, that's something I did pick up a while ago. It's like, there's no hard R.
Whoa! Whoa! Whoa!
At least not the end
Whoa!
of this. At least not the
Okay.
end of a word.
Yeah, let's just use a different terminology for that, please.
But it is. It's a. Look.
Shut up!
Look. It's you who's coming to these
Cancel this
conclusions. It's you who's
Cancel him.
coming to these conclusions.
Cancel him! Cancel this man before he drags me down with him.
Actually, that's the thing. Certain East Coast
yeah, it's
accents
like-
are non-Roric as well.
Yeah, it's like Pack the Ka in the Harvard Yard versus Park the Core in the Harvard Yard.
Exactly. I don't know, player. I don't know what the problem is.
I would like to once again request that we move past this this terminology and perhaps call it something else, like hamburger R's. You know, because you say the R in hamburger.
Hamburgers.
Let's just call it hamburger R's.
Hamburgers.
Hamburgers. Let's call them hamburgers.
Okay, this one is also.
Is this the other new one or the regular or the previous?
It's the other one. So there's two of them. Actually, wait, this one looks new. It's also level 4 though. The other ones are level 2 and level 3, but with shock gauntlet. Oh, hi, Mart.
Well, we couldn't even clear the regular one with. Do we even stand a chance?
Well, it's at level 3, but with shock trooper gauntlet. High intensity. Maybe we should just stick with level 4 now that I think about it.
We are mad cause bad,
Exactly.
as they say.
You're doing good. I'm impressed.
Is it? I forget if I made it delayed for a reason. Also, it could just be because it could just be that like you need to press fast forward on the stream, because that's a thing I've noticed with certain YouTube streamers. By the way, apparently there's now a huge serious debate about moving to YouTube for a lot of streamers. Oh, hi Mickey. It's been a while. Thank you for coming.
I don't imagine you're expecting me, my darlings. But let's make some trouble.
Wait, who's Howleth? Or Halloweth? Hallowet.
She's the premium item shop lady,
Oh, her.
the one who they had to like punctuate
Yeah.
her main dialogue lines because everyone was complaining about them.
Why is she in here now? Dude. Okay, if you're gonna
Because,
put...
like, in the context, it's the context of the narrative. What little narrative Darktide has.
Yeah. If we're gonna put this bitch in, can we have, like, the shop servitor in? I feel like he'd be a much more interesting character.
Can everyone please be really nice to Fat Shark and Darktide, because I would like to be in the game at some point, and if I hang around with people bad-mouthing it, they're never gonna let me. So everyone please just say nice things.
Yeah,
Don't offer up any constructive criticism or anything like that. Just
I think
nothing but relentless, obnoxious positivity from here on out.
I think, Jane's... I think, maybe refresh the stream, otherwise I don't know. Could just be because Darktide is kind of intensive and the bitrate might be slow. Oh, I'm sorry, why aren't we supposed to be saying
no,
positive things?
Darktide is perfect. It's perfect. It's flawless. The problem is with your computer. I thought those Imperial Guardsmen were enemies.
Yeah, I did too! DreadAnon voice mod when?
Flawless game design. It would just be me making snarky comments about the premium item shop. I don't think they'll let me do that in an official capacity.
That would be a good idea, but
maybe they will.
that's also why they wouldn't do it, because it would be a good idea. Because as we all know...
Stop saying these things!
Okay. So you're saying that there is a possibility that DreadAnon, or that, like, DreadAnon could be in this because Games Workshop executives would allow something that the fans would like?
I can be the loose cannon. I jibe and I jabber, but I never offer up any real criticism because I'm an obsequious toady, and I like money. That's the main thing. I hear a demon host, everyone's favorite enemy.
Did we bother? I mean, I do have the shield. I have the shield, so unless they change its AI.
Ages. No, I think you can still cheese it. Hey, this guy looks exactly like me.
Wait, where is
Get your own fit, bro. Why, it's right there.
Oh, yep, there it is.
Oh,
I'm getting away from it.
Smart decision.
I want to see a Gene Stealer cult as like
I
a
remember last time.
faction in this game.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Some much-needed variety. Oh, and they could do the objectively coolest thing in every game ever where it happens, where the enemies fight each other if they belong to different factions. You know, you could.
By the way,
like,
I'm
go
pinned.
into a portal or
Help!
something, and there are
Help! I'm pinned.
Ah! Why? So am I. That horde really came out of nowhere. I was too busy not paying attention to the fact that the other two guys had already moved on to the next part of the map.
Aren't I in the next part of the map?
Yeah, no, it's me and some other guy
Ah!
who are up. It's me and the guy who's dressed like me. Oh, there you go. This really has been disaster after disaster after disaster.
It's a Fat Shark game! Yay!
No, it's all our fault. Didn't you get the memo?
I like this.
Damn it! Well, now we're dead.
No!
But yeah, I feel like Gene Stealer cult would be the only other logical enemy faction put in this game. You couldn't do orcs unless it was like all Gretchen.
Yeah.
And I feel like having Dark Eldar would be like every single enemy is basically a demon host.
Yeah. You couldn't put Dark Eldar in the game because you would need to like it would need to be like NC-17.
By the way, I refuse to call them Drukhari, they're called Dark Eldar. And they're not called Eldari, they're called Eldar. I refuse.
Oh, it's even worse in Age of Sigmar because they're not elves anymore. They're elves with an AE.
Games Workshop.
Copyright Games Workshop 2023.
I don't know.
Who I love and respect as a corporate entity.
I feel like I was gonna go somewhere with this. I totally forget. I'm not even human. I love that didn't they straight up change the name of Eldar because they realized, oh shit, we can't copyright Eldar.
Yeah, because it's a Tolkien word that they stole with their grubby little mitts. Like they steal everything! I mean, you know, they just happened to come up with the same word. You know, it's amazing how creative our friends at Games Workshop trademark are. Why, they could think of anything.
At some point, they're gonna copyright the phrase "Rockin' Stone" with with the leagues
They
of
can't
Votan.
do that.
So what
Oh, they'll
are
say it's some.
what is the new lore for squats?
They're reclusive, robot building short guys.
But like, where did they come from?
They were always there, I guess, but no one wanted to talk to them because they're isolationist
So it's not like
or something.
So it's not like they were also made by the old ones, or they're not some sort of weird offshoot of humanity. They're
I
just
think they're, like, technically abhumans, but there are so many of them, and they have an organized political force that, like,
interesting.
the Imperium is forced to interact. They're forced to interact with them on their own terms because they could actually cause trouble for them, unlike isolated Ogren tribes or Ratlings or what have you. Which is a cool idea. I'm not in love with their aesthetic because they're just like Space Marines except round. But you know what? At least they're back. They're alive. They're canon. They're not bikers anymore, but you know, whatever. Games Workshop can do no wrong.
I mean, if they are gonna take inspiration for anything from Space Wars, it has to be from Deep Rock.
Yeah.
Like, they gotta have, like, Deep Rock-inspired weaponry and, like, or pickaxes melee weapons for the Votan.
I think. Don't quote me. I think they sort of do. Like, I think they have, like, pickaxe-shaped axes and stuff. I don't know.
Yeah, tell your rockets. Exactly. Because now to think about it, that was the reason why they took squats out in the first place, was because they couldn't really go anywhere with them lore-wise. It's like, they're just Space Wars. How can we make that interesting?
But now, they're their own thing with lore and such.
Yep.
Good old Games Workshop taking a tired old concept and adding a fresh spin on it. Just what you'd expect from the creative masterminds at Games Workshop Incorporated, trademark, circa
All rights reserved.
2023.
All rights reserved.
All rights reserved. These remarks are not affiliated with Games Workshop in any way, shape, or form. All resemblances to living persons are coincidental. If you need more information, you can visit our website at www.dreadnought.com. There! Now they'll never sue me. I guess they never actually sued anyone. They just made it sound like they were going to and turned everyone
That
against
is a
them
good
for no
question.
material gain.
That is a good question, Average. When is DreadAnon gonna start streaming?
Soon, Tia. As soon as I figure out how streaming works, I don't know. It's much easier to let everyone else handle it.
Step 1, you download OBS. Step 2, you press the start streaming button.
It's too much work. It is too much work.
I mean, how do you do recording for any of your videos?
I used I used to like literally use my phone and then email the files to myself and then put it all together in Audacity and then like use some like freeware web app to actually put the videos to pictures. But now I have a much more professional system because I have a microphone.
All he needs is a totally legally distinct VTuber model, and he can be a proper VTuber.
I can't use a dreadnought or they'll assassinate me.
Exactly, you gotta make something legally distinct.
This is my motivation to learn how to draw and make up my own little fantasy universe, where I can be a fear not, you know, because I don't fear corporate reprisals for plagiarism, because I'm a big brave boy.
Hey, that's what you should be. You should be a fridge, just a big yellow fridge with an angry face on it.
That'd be amazing. No! Why will the trapper not leave my friends alone? Have I not demonstrated my love? Oops.
Fuck. Combat fridge, exactly. Or you know what you should do? How about like basically a big anthropomorphic version of the original Dreadnought? Like the HMS Dreadnought.
Oh, yeah.
But it's got like angry marine colors on it.
Like a transformer, except...
Oh, that would actually be pretty cool.
I could... Yeah. No, I'd secure that sponsorship from World of Warships so fast.
Speaking of, I don't know if you pay attention to, like, those kinds of games, but, apparently people got really pissed off at War Thunder.
Again?
Wait, is this a new track?
Someday, I hope to have access to classified information I can link to government sources in exchange for, imprisonment.
And winning an argument on the internet.
It never seems to go well for them. Yeah. Like, it's like, you never hear them getting away with it. It's always like, they get sent to prison for sharing classified documents on their Discord server.
But no, what happened with War Thunder was, they decided to do this, like, monetization strategy, which made the game basically unplayable, even with, like, premium and with grinding. And apparently it's been a boiling point for years, but suddenly, like, the game's been heavily review bombed. They're trying to take down reviews. I don't know what the current state of the game is on Steam. They threatened to remove it from Steam because of review bombing, which, wow, that's childish.
Oh, wow.
That's like, yeah, people don't like War Thunder anymore.
If you guys don't like our game, we'll take it away. That's kind of, the whole thing with, like, just sharing classified information for no reason. That I read those, like, Trump transcripts of what he apparently did, and that it seems like that's what he did. He was just like, hey, check out these sick documents I've got. I mean, he didn't, like, gain anything or, like, save face by doing it. He just, like, was like, hey, look at these cool papers.
I mean, he did gain something.
Which
he
is the
gained a
most
modicum of attention back after he became irrelevant again.
Yeah, but I don't think that was worth it, in my professional opinion. If I had classified intelligence, I would simply not show my staffers for no reason. But that's just me. That's probably why I'm not president.
He's probably so used to basically getting away with everything.
Yeah. But like that, I don't know if, I think it kind of is a bit of an overreaction in it, isn't it? If, like, nothing happened and no one, like, committed any treason, or, I don't know. I'm not some sort of, like, hardcore Trump defender. I think he's, like, a bit of a goat, as we say over here, but, I don't know.
He made his own brand of NFTs. If anyone still defends him, I think it's their problem.
Oh, okay, yeah, then he can, yeah, then he can die. Curse you, Trump. I can tolerate the being a naughty Nelly. I can tolerate the treason. I can tolerate the paying off porn stars. But NFTs, that's where I draw the line.
God, it feels like NFTs feel like a fever dream at this point. It's like they were there for like a huge. It was like they were everywhere and now they're just gone.
I'm sure they're like still in those circles where people care about them a lot, but like, what was the point of any of it?
So like, there is a use for NFTs, but it's like in a sort of background sense to like verify transactions for actual products. But it was part of like the whole stupid Web 3.0 thing, which I just love how it...
Well, it's harder to get excited about that than pictures of little monkey men.
I love how the Zuck just, like, quietly gave up on his dream after putting so much into it.
I can't believe we won't get the second life successor that we deserve.
Yeah, except we do have it. It's called VR chat.
Yeah,
that's
but
what
it
it
didn't
is.
have the metaverse. The metaverse. And then you look up the metaverse and it's just like,
Oh god, I remember. I think
Second
it was either this year or last year during one of my last classes in college. It was some sort of business class, and there was one particular week where we had to like look into the metaverse and had to like read this like article about it, and it's like, I can't read this. Like, I'm trying, and it's fucking hilarious.
why? It sounds like you aren't a proactive, algorithmic, blockchain, understander. Not like me, who's a Web 3.0 Chad and knows how to hack the mainframe like a pro gamer.
Know how to use your data interrogator?
Hey, topical.
Veterans hurt.
Like, you just can't, you just can't announce a new era in technology. Especially when, like, there's, like, no substance to it. It's like, what I think is that, like, these kinds of things, an era starts when you're already in the middle of it, basically. That's when you realize it started.
But if I pump billions into it, I'm sure to see a return on my investment.
Sounds like a proper professional from Biz.
Buy high, sell low. That's my
Don't
motto.
eat. Don't eat.
Oh, stick it where the sun don't shine.
He booked.
I'm not going back for that guy, he's so far away.
How's that guy even over there? Like,
I don't even know.
How did you get there?
Oh no.
All right.
And I am separated and on my own and facing a lot of enemies.
Sounds like you don't trust in the Emperor, bro. For only 5 payments of $9.95, you too can be abased and Emperor pilled.
You know what, that
faith Chad.
That's a pretty cool idea for a video, like, just televangelist 40k.
That could be the Marines' Malevolence next scam.
But you gotta, like, have it, like, you have to, like, really make it look like a proper American televangelist setup. You have to, like, be speaking in tongues and shit.
Oh, it's all over for everyone once I figure out how to animate. Oh, a burster just killed me.
Boss is dead.
Because I did a guest voice for this other series called My Big Golden Buddy, and it's kind of like Tekken Mech, but the guys actually move around and stuff, and it's not just a slideshow. And I saw it, and I was like, I want a piece of that pie. So I'm gonna dedicate my life to figuring out how to make little guys move around the screen, which I assume will involve purchasing Adobe Premiere.
Damn it! How are those boxes not hitting? We suck.
This is a certificate.
We haven't even finished one of these
We're
yet.
not having a good night, folks. It's not going well. Just pirated, Faust Blackheart says. Just pirated. Piracy is a crime, and crime doesn't pay.
Well, Anna's finally
and we
awake.
go home purr at the end of the day. Oh my god.
Piracy is always morally correct, especially against Nintendo.
No, they make delightful games for the whole family to enjoy. Why pirating a Nintendo game is like punching Mickey Mouse in the face. Fun at first, but soon you begin to feel disgusted with yourself.
Exactly, pirates always get the booty.
Thanks to Dread, I'm going to buy 3 copies of Darktide. Do it! And tell Fat Shark who exactly encouraged you to spend your hard-earned cash on their wonderful computer electronic entertainment. It was me, that guy who does the voices, and I know they already have guys who do the voices, but they could always use some more voices, eh? Especially at union rates. I'm not part of a union, but you know, if I was, they should pay me that much, or perhaps even more. Frankly, I deserve it. Not to toot my own horn. Oh, I'm never going to get a job. No one's going to employ me. Yes.
So Anna's awake. She's probably not gonna make it.
No!
Okay, we're doing level 2.
I'll never beat a level.
We're doing level 2. Fuck this. I actually.
Oh jeez, I feel embarrassed.
I do too.
I don't. I'm having an off night. It's
Wait, the
it's
zealot reading the patch notes?
You know, it's like. Yeah, the voice actor for one of the male zealots, James Alexander, he reads out the patch notes in the zealot voice. So it's like Scab Gunner's damage has been reduced by 7 points. That sort of thing. He commented on one of my videos once, and it made me giddy. I can't even pretend to be cool about it. It was the best thing ever. I was so elated.
Great, Anna feels bad about herself now. Anna, it's alright.
No! We love Anna! She has committed no wrong except being a sleepyhead. And who can blame her in these trying times of irregular sleep schedules?
Yep. You can still follow her in the description below if you want, goth, punk, yakuza GF with smooth, whiskey-soaked voice.
And who doesn't?
You should have seen her 1.0 model. It was just straight up goth girl.
We're on the second lowest difficulty setting, so we can't possibly lose.
Yeah, and there's no modifiers, no mutators. If we lose this, we fucking suck. So how is Bolt Gun, aside from not being able to see it clearly sometimes?
Bolt Gun's great. I love Bolt Gun. I love that, you know, Zinch monsters finally get the spotlight for once. Because it's like Nurgle and Zinch, which is like a weird combination, because usually it's Korn and Nurgle, usually. So Zinch monsters showing up is great. And I love the flow of the gameplay. It just really, it just all ties together really well. It reminds me of Doom 2016 a lot, more so than like the original Doom.
Really? Because Doom 2016 was kind of Quake-ish.
Yeah, because Yeah, in the sense that like there are these like combat arenas that like have multiple levels of verticality and.
But is there like, is there actually jumping? Can you like actually look up?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, there's it's not like Doom. It's not like hardcore old school Doom. It's like kind of new Doom, kind of old Doom.
So it's.
But yeah, you can look around.
Yeah, it's more Quake inspired then. I see.
Yeah, I like it a lot. They're on a hot streak, our Games Workshop, with their licensed properties, and I'm not just saying that to be a bootleg.
I mean, I love Darktide with all its flaws, so yeah, and
yeah.
Plus, they're finally releasing Space Marine 2. I never did finish the first one.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It does kind of fall off a bit, just a little bit towards the end once the Chaos guys show up, and the final boss is kind of disappointing. But apart from that,
and the ending is disappointing. The cliffhanger.
Well, it makes sense in the context of the story, and it gave us the wonderful gift of Leandros being the worst Space Marine in the world, and it brought the fandom together to hate Leandros and everything he stands for.
Who's Leandros again? Was he like the?
Can we get a?
Was he like that new Space Marine?
He's the guy who's all like, "No, you're not following the Codex."
Oh yeah, yeah. He's like that young, just got out of the Scout Squad Space Marine.
Yes, that's him. Can we get a fuck Leandros in the chat?
Like, he is basically everything wrong with the Ultramarines, basically.
Basically, yeah. But he's like... it's kind of fun to hate him. So he's... I guess he kind of... If that's what they were going for, they succeeded.
I don't know if that's what they went for.
I get that guy.
I don't know. I feel like that's giving writers too much credit. No offense, but like, I don't know.
No, I thought it was pretty well done.
Then again, like I said, I never finished the game. In fact, I don't even think I ever got to the point where demons spawned. Oh,
Darnation, you gotta go and do that.
You know where I think I left off? I think I left off with the boss fight against the war boss. That one that everyone loves.
Okay, yeah, it sort of does get a little bit worse after that, I'd say, but like, it's still pretty good all the way towards the end.
But yeah, they released that, they released Boltgun, they released Darktide, which is shit, but it's still apparently the highest, its most successful 40k game.
I believe it. They released the Necromunda game a little while back too, which I thought was pretty okay.
I've heard criticism. I was gonna get it, but I decided not to.
It's janky, but I think
also
it's
glory kills
good
are free.
still.
Glory kills are free, unlike in Doom. We actually have to stun an enemy first.
Oh yeah, that never made any sense to me. But you know what? We all make mistakes. I, for example, became a Warhammer 40k YouTuber. Some people put free glory kills into their games instead of making you stun the enemies first. You know, everyone makes mistakes.
And I made a mistake by becoming a VTuber, which means getting a really expensive fucking model. Did I mention I have no job?
It'll all be worth it in the end. Yes, you mentioned you were a NEET. This is kind of a job, even if you don't get paid for it. So, you're saying you do it for free? Like some sort of member of the janitorial staff?
Mr. Senator, I can neither confirm nor deny the allegations against me.
Well, at least you're not a Reddit mod.
I've heard someone say it, I think it might have been Nick Beer said it, and I kind of have to agree that Reddit is just 4chan, but with like this like filter of like childlike innocence over everything.
I'd say like smugness more so than innocence. It's like people who think they're right all the time and will condescend to you about it, whereas 4chan is people who think they're right all the time and will yell at you about it, which I personally prefer. Like,
or I guess like maybe like a sense of naivete.
yeah, maybe like
Because they are very easy to troll.
yeah, if you say even anything even remotely sarcastic without like a little /s at the end, they'll be like, "What? What did you mean by this? What?"
Somehow,
It's a joke, you moron. Jeez.
that feel when Reddit's more autistic than 4chan.
Kinda, yeah.
But like, I
guess the
remember like.
exhibits-
I remember watching a bunch of these Reddit cringe compilations, and a lot of them just felt so, like, note for note. It's like, these have to be trolls taking the piss. There's no way.
Well, that's the thing. There are like a lot of subreddits that attract creative writing exercises to see how gullible Redditors are, and
Yeah, especially
I mean,
the ones
it
that
works a
Paul
lot of
likes
the
to
time.
make fun
But
of. Yeah, like... Oh, there's one...
my wife's boyfriend took my Nintendo Switch away.
Yeah, it's like... Okay,
Oh,
did he
dear,
also take
I'm
your
really
Funko...
sorry to hear that.
Did he also take your fucking Funko Pops? It's like, that's the most stereotypical Reddit shit ever! It's like, that can't be real.
Yeah, and then people will eat it up. They'll be like, "Oh, geez, I'm so sorry. I'm
Yeah,
so
it's
sorry
like-
to hear that.
it's-
You need to establish boundaries."
It's just as toxic, and it can be just as fucked up as 4chan at times. But, like...
Well, that's the thing. People like, I think places like Twitter and Reddit are a million times more toxic than 4chan could ever hope to be. Because, like, anonymity is, like, the buffer zone. Whereas, like, even if you have even, like, a vestige of your identity attached
Plus,
to
I feel like...
anything you post,
I feel like people, like, check... Okay, so fun story. So, the Thick Trapper waifu pic I used as part of the image. When I asked the guy... When I asked the guy, because he was on Reddit, and that's where I asked him, when I asked him if I could use it, one of the first things he did was check the profile I used. So it's like, on 4chan, you can be an idiot in one thread, and unless, like, you repeat it often, you're not going to be noticeable. But, like, on Reddit, people will check your...
checked your post history.
Yeah, or like...
For Buster.
Or, like, they'll check your karma, and it's like, suddenly, it's like you become, like, the untouchables in the Hindu caste society, where just the mark of it means that nobody likes you.
I saw you posted or conservative. You're out of here, incel. Then they ban you.
Okay, question. Have you ever tried to go to Crystal Cafe?
No.
Do you even know what Crystal Cafe is?
No.
It's 4chan, but
What is it?
sexist.
Oh my.
And
You know, that doesn't sound too out there.
but here's the thing, and here's why it's sexist, because on 4chan, they don't care if you're a woman. Like, you could be a woman on 4chan, nobody cares, not unless you, like, make a point to make it part of your identity or whatever. But it's like, they don't care. On Chris...
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, I think if it's assumed you're a man, like, they just treat you the same, but if there's, like, a hint that you might be a woman, they'll kind of, like...
I've seen femanons. I've seen femanons before, but my point is, Crystal
It
Cafe...
depends on the board, I guess.
Crystal Cafe is women-only 4chan. And unsurprisingly, they're also transphobic.
Oh, I know about, I know about Lipstick Ellie, which is kind of, I think it's like 4chan, but for African-American women. And they can be pretty vicious, like, just like any board in the internet. So, you know, it really just goes to show you that deep down, we're all the same.
By the way, Demon
Everyone's
Host.
equal, because we can all be jerks in the internet.
Demon Host, by the way. But yeah, and it's like, you know what's funny? It's like, I went there and just browsed the couch, it's like, this is basically female R9K. It's like full of fem cells.
Not the fem cells.
It is! who just like blame men for all their
I almost
problems
chopped
and
Demon
shit.
Ups. There should be some sort of couples program that unites incels and femcels, and they can all get together and be happy.
Do you
and solve
remember?
each other's problems?
Do you remember that brief period of time after the Independence Day raid on Tumblr, where they tried to like ship Tumblr's like mascot with 4chan's mascot? That existed.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
Because the joke was, Tumblr's full of like sexually repressed women, 4chan's full of sexually repressed men. Why can't we all just get along? The Independence Day raid might have been like my first.
Together.
The Independence Day raid might have been one of my like first internet history moments. And like maybe a month after that, we got the fappening. And then
that old chestnut, I haven't heard anyone talk about this happening in a while.
Oh yes, that is ancient history at this point.
Yeah, God, that seems so. It's not even that long ago, but it already feels like ancient history. That's weird. I don't like that. I don't like how the passage of time is affecting me.
And then not long
like
after
to stop.
not long after the fappening, Gamergate started.
Oh,
That was all in 2014.
what a year! What a year!
Yeah, that
If you go
was.
back and look at those the spaces that like where Gamergate took off, like our Kotaku in action and stuff, it is the saddest bunch of like histrionic whingers. It's like it's the most pathetic thing in the world because they're still like, oh, I guess the SJWs aren't so tolerant after all. Like,
Here's the thing, though. It's like there are people on both sides that have.
woman in the Little Mermaid.
There are people on both sides that have never let go of Gamergate. Like,
Yeah.
Brianna Wu is infamous for it.
Old Minrocks.
I mean, kinetic bombardment is a legitimate concept. Actually, I wonder
Well,
if
yeah,
they made
but I would
kinetic bombardment
personally
illegal
just-
yet.
I would personally just shoot someone with a gun if I wanted to kill them instead of dropping a rock on them from space. But what do I know?
Well, but you know how kinetic bombardment works, right?
Well, yeah, I understand the physics behind it, but like, I don't think it's very practical, and I don't think it needs to be one of the main concerns of your congressional campaign. If you're running for Congress.
I mean, maybe these
I don't
days there
think
are
that's-
because the U.S. has Space Force now.
Yeah, I guess so.
And, like, there's talks about, like, weaponizing space, finally. Especially since China is testing out their own attack satellites, which is pretty much illegal.
Wow, this is just like Call of Duty Infinite Warfare.
Except, attack satellites are pretty lame. Basically what they do is they grab satellites and hurl them out of orbit.
None of them good.
Space battles are gonna be so lame when we get to them, because it's just gonna be like hunks of metal, like thousands of kilometers apart, like firing lasers at each other, and they can't even see each other. And it's gonna be so lame.
And they have to be careful because it's very easy to overheat in space, and that's why everything is painted white.
I can't wait for our robotic overlords to send us to fight in the slave pits.
That reminds you of something. Did I tell you about the? I think I did in our last collab. The drone that killed its operator.
Yeah, yeah.
The Men of Iron are coming.
Oh no. Not those guys. We got rid of them once already. I like to think there'll be like some sort of Tamagotchi equivalent that get us. Like they'll find a way to escape the confines of the digital world, and we'll all get strangled to death in our sleep by our Tamagotchis.
Yeah, I have a feeling that, like, it's gonna be more like that one episode of Futurama with, like, with that, like, Lucy Liu android.
Oh yeah.
Which reminds me of something that's incredibly cursed that I found on, I think it was... No, it wasn't on B. So, which boards have flags? There's Pol and there's Int, is that it?
The news board maybe, but like I don't think anyone goes there.
So, there's a particularly cursed post, and I even posted in the community tab like a week ago maybe. I'm gonna have to send it to you. I'm not gonna say what it is. All I'm gonna say is, it is very much an Uncle Ted moment.
Oh no, that's the worst kind of moment.
Yeah, also, rip Uncle Ted. Pour one out for Kaczynski.
He's... I would like to take this moment to establish firmly that I do not condone the mailing of explosive devices to innocent people. just in case that needed to be said.
Actually, okay. Can you imagine Ted Kaczynski 40k? Like, actually, it would be a fairly topical skit to do.
Tidarius Kaczynskius.
Like, how do you think it would go?
The Adeptus Mechanicum and its consequences have been a disaster.
Yeah, the ad mechanics. Oh, you know what it is? It's gonna be like, or maybe it's like some sort of, oh, you know, who are those, like, specific ad mechs that are about bioengineering?
Oh, Magos Biologist is the singular, but we're not pluralizing because I don't know how to do that.
Yeah, like, you think that guy would be like 40k Ted? He would be one of those guys.
Yeah.
Or would it be like an ecclesiarch who just hates this other government-sanctioned religion?
No, because Ted wasn't really a religious guy, so...
Yeah, it might be, yeah.
I think... but this begs the question, who would be the Terry Davis of 40k?
I'm sure there's gotta be at least, like, a dozen of them in every Hive city. Specifically Hive cities, like, I couldn't imagine anyone else be... Oh my god, this is new. But yeah, something like that. Or, you know... You think Terry Davis would be an Inquisitor?
I don't know if he was mentally stable enough to be an Inquisitor. He'd be like a flagellant, maybe. An anarcho-flagellant.
Maybe. Or, you know what? Maybe because...
Just without all the...
Maybe he would be part of AdMech.
Like...
Maybe he would be part of the AdMech, and he's...
No, maybe. Oh, yeah.
Because he would... Like, his whole point was...
tech whiz.
Like, his whole thing was that he was told by God to build, the third Temple of Solomon, but do it in an operating system in, like, digital space.
That does sound a lot like Adeptus Mechanicus now that you mention it.
Yeah, like some rogue AdMech.
No, there's a video idea.
Okay, yeah, okay, I can picture it. I can picture it.
How easy it is
I can picture it now. It's
to be a Warhammer 40k content creator TM.
Yeah, I can picture it now. It would be basically, so, you know his famous "they glow in the dark" speech? That's basically his biggest phrase.
Which we will not recite in full here.
Yes. Although I do recite it in a censored version on time to time. So, like...
Okay, just let's not...
Oh, you know what it would be? The Inquisition, they glow in the dark.
Oh, jeez.
That would probably be it. The Inquisition, they glow in the dark.
Let's not take it any further than that.
I know. But it is a funny video idea, you have to
We'll
admit.
keep it PG.
It's just
Kinda,
like,
yeah.
like, Admech Terry Davis on his, like, Vox casts.
Oh no.
Thank God I ate Erebus.
Well, as long as it's Erebus, it's fine. You know, I don't think anyone would object to hating Erebus.
Wait, they make servitors out of Ogren? I guess that kinda makes sense? That would also imply there's enough of a brain for an
Yeah,
Ogren,
there are
right?
Ogren servitors.
Well-
No, there are Ogren servitors. They use them on, I think, House Goliath in Necromunda used them. Or Vansat, or whichever the technologically
How
advanced
can you
house
get
is.
any more simple-minded than an Ogren, though?
Well, maybe you don't even have to lobotomize them. You just, like, stick a fork in their head.
No, they're boneheads.
That's
You're
it.
literally describing a bonehead. You just...
No,
stick-
they're fork heads.
I might be a little unfamiliar. What is a fork in this context?
A literal dinner fork. This isn't part of the actual lore. I'm making it up because forkhead is a funny minced oath that sounds like an actual term people use, but it is not, in fact, a term in and of itself. I have sneakily done a self-censorship for the purposes of comedy.
What would... Okay, here's another video idea. A self-aware Ogren. Like an actual intelligent Ogren.
Oh, that would just be depressing.
It's like Barbog the Orc.
Yeah.
Who almost stopped to contemplate life, but then he crumped himself.
I think he made the correct decision.
That's one of the only ways to make Orc grimdark is that.
Yeah. They're just fun little guys. They're just having a fun time, and we gotta spoil it for them with concepts like pathos and drama.
How may I serve? Do you
Oh, hello, Nick. What's up?
Hey, it's Nick. You're welcome. You're very welcome. Anytime. I will voice anything, anywhere, any place, anytime, anywhen.
So when are you gonna do your audiobook of the Unabomber Manifesto?
will there be anything?
Why'd you have to go and say a thing like
Oh
that?
shit, I got the wrong one. I got the shit one.
Oh no, what happened? Did you try and get a weapon?
I got the one breech-loaded grenade launcher that's also a shotgun that's really shit. And I just hate with a passion.
Oh yeah. They really gotta buff that, because it's not too good at the moment.
Like, that thing has to delete everything in front of it in order for it to be good.
Yeah. It can barely even take out, like, basic enemies at this point.
Or at the very least, give it a decent reload speed.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Fat Shark are too busy developing more hard-hitting, well-designed content for the players to enjoy and spend their hard-earned money on,
Like skins.
like premium skins, which I think look fabulous. Don't they look fabulous, everyone? Doesn't that company make some really good products? I would like to be involved in those products if I could, and then you know, I can badmouth them later.
I'm gonna consume.
That's the way.
I'm gonna consume.
Gonna consume! Oh god, I'm consuming! Ah!
miracles cometh deliverance.
I've been known to consume a product or two in my time, although I don't promote them because that's it's like 1950s radio commercials selling cigarettes to children. You know, it just doesn't seem right.
Meanwhile, like maybe 30 minutes, 30, 40 minutes ago, you were saying we can't see anything bad about Darktide anymore.
Yeah, but like there's a difference. There's a difference because like Darktide is a fun video game, whereas like people ask me to sell like lamps and stuff. I'm not doing that. People don't need to buy no overpriced lamps. You just go down to the hardware store. You get yourself a little $15 lamp. You take that home. You light up your environs with it. You don't need no fancy $200 lamp that YouTubers try to sell you. That's
I think this is
what we call securing the bag.
Oh god, GameStop. GameStop is so sad.
They're hanging in there, which is against all odds.
Like, they sell Funko Pops now. Sell Funko Pops now. Let that sink in.
To be completely fair, there's probably a lot of money in Funko Pops.
Actually, I could be
I get
wrong.
where they're
This
coming
could just be a false memory, but I think Funko Pops are actually going under now.
Oh no!
Like, the market's been so saturated that there's
I have
nothing
a
left.
friend. Yeah, I have a friend who's an entire like wall filled up with mint condition Funko Pops. So she will not be best pleased by this news.
My brother-in-law has a few Funkos.
It's like
Like, he doesn't
it's like
collect
Beanie
them,
Babies,
but
you know.
it is when you think about it.
I can understand. Like, I would respect you more if you like got the other boxes and smashed them together and had little play fights. You know, if you actually used your toys to play with.
Those are the weirdest
Because
kinds.
that's what.
Like, those are the weirdest kinds of collectors. The ones who are like, no, everything's gotta be mint condition so I can sell it at a higher price.
Didn't you guys watch Toy Story for gosh sakes? You know.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
If,
That
if
was
you don't play with your toys like
that was
yes.
part of the plot of the second game, wasn't it? Or the second movie. It was like the guy who like.
It's like there's like a 40-year-old man who collects toys and puts them in mint condition boxes and just wants to. Well, I guess he was gonna sell them to a museum or something, which isn't like. I guess that's kind of okay, but you know, I don't think any museums are buying up Funko Pops just yet.
So there was an idea I heard. I think it might have
Maybe
been
they
from
are.
Negbirdia, but it's a really cool idea. So what do you think? Like, let's say apocalypse happens and it's like 100, maybe 1,000 years in the future. Very little information is left of our society. What do you think people in the future are gonna think about our society? Like future archaeologists and anthropologists.
Now, as a history boy, and as a boy who knows a thing or two about delving into the past, I don't think we're gonna have any situations where people think like we worship Funko Pops or
You
whatever.
don't think so?
No, because I think usually I know people meme about that and stuff where like we find a sculpture of a woman with big titties and everyone's like, oh, it must be a goddess of some sort, when maybe a sculptor just wanted to make some big titties.
Yeah, that was a criticism
but-
of it. That it was, and I'm pretty sure the exact quote was paleo porn.
Yeah, but like usually there are inferences to be made, and you can sort of halfway accurately guess at what a particular thing might have been used for if there's enough context. So I think the fact that we'll probably have like, I don't know, sales records and stuff with Funko Pops.
But
we'll
that's
be able to
assuming
understand that
that's
Funko
assuming
Pops
those
was
things.
brand and
That's assuming things would be like preserved, like it's in Rome, and that there is a lot of written records left.
well, it's like
Especially with everything
well, no,
being
'cause, like,
digitized today.
they're all identical, and what's that?
Especially with everything being digitized today. Like, if computers die,
Well, yeah, but like In this specific example, Funko Pops all look identical, so they must have all been produced by the same manufacturers, and you'll have them all over the world. So presumably it'll have been something that isn't specific to any one culture. You can make your suppositions and your inferences and all that stuff, and come away with a semi-accurate picture of what's going on. So I don't think people are gonna think we worship Funko Pops, but they might. It's impossible to say.
I like the idea that, like...
This is the kind of content people come here for.
I like the idea that, like, they will look at the storyline of the Avengers and consider it, like, mythology. Like, oh... And keep in mind that they have at least one,
No, because like, we know who created all this stuff. It's... No, I don't like that sort of talk at all. Because, like...
Keep in mind that they already have one
something...
god from a traditional religion in Marvel. So they could think it's like some sort of offshoot of Norse mythology.
I don't know, man. That's a bit of a reach, in my opinion. Like, because, like, when we read historical, mythological cycles and stuff like that, we usually have a pretty good idea of, like, what figures were gods and what figures were just, guys. So I think in some sort of hypothetical future where all records have been erased and all we have to go is material culture, I think...
Which isn't impossible. Again, it is impossible considering how much is not being recorded on anything solid anymore.
I guess, but I don't know.
Plus, if culture goes down completely, then wouldn't like
Walter White in them.
I
feel like Walter White in that one episode of Better Call Saul where he's like, time travel's impossible. I feel like a buzzkill, but...
I know, I just want to have fun thinking about, like... Because those are the kinds of things that makes me laugh, is like...
This is a serious historical inquiry!
So, have you ever want to make, like, a video about history? I know you've done, like, 1 or 2, but it seems to be lacking in content.
I do quite a lot of history videos, but they're mostly... I do like history jokes, but, like, I do want to, at some point, like, make, like, a channel about history, because, like, every time I get worried that someone will beat me to the punch and cover my niches before I do, but, It hasn't happened yet, and possibly might not ever happen, because... unless one of those guys who, like, makes those annoying shorts, which go, like... it's just, like, a bunch of lines from Wikipedia set to, like, a slideshow of AI art. Unless one of those guys gets to it. Because those always get millions of views, and I don't know why. I guess because it's, like, short and easy, and doesn't require too much of the viewer. I'm very bitter.
Yeah, that feeling when you put a lot of effort into something and nobody watches it, but the most shitty, low-effort thing you make. The highest rating, like, view count and, like, interaction count video on my channel is, like, this, like, 4 or 5 second clip that I made in, like, 30 minutes, just spur of the moment.
Well, that's the way it always goes.
Yeah.
It's just,
feels bad,
luck
man.
of the draw, I guess. Like, the amount of effort you put into something is completely,
I mean, I think
has
effort...
no correlation whatsoever.
I think effort does play a part in it, but I do think a certain part of it just is down to entropy. Like, because there are, like, musicians that should have gotten big. Everything pointed to them getting big, but they didn't. Or, like, have you heard of... Have you seen Ghost Stories?
The anime?
Yes.
Yeah.
You seen it?
Yes, I have.
Oh, because the whole thing about that is, it was just this big, tremendous flop, but it had so much going for it. Like, it had a pretty solid studio behind it, it had some pretty big heavyweights in voice acting behind it, and the concept of school horror stories and ghost stories was something very popular in Japan at the time, so it's like, this should have worked.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's just the way the news goes. You know, it just, we don't know what's gonna take off. Sometimes nothing takes off. Sometimes the internet just wants funny cat videos, and that's all they want. And by gum, they're gonna get their funny cat videos. They don't want no 10-hour video essay about the American Revolution.
So, you say that,
Although,
but...
now that I think about it, that would probably do very well.
Okay, so, there is something I want to plug right now, and I think you would absolutely love this, because you love history. So, it's called Hardcore...
Yeah, okay.
It's called Hardcore History. It's by this guy named Dan Carlin.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you've heard of him?
Oh, I know Hardcore History, yeah. Yes.
Have you seen it?
Yeah, a couple.
So, like, I'd especially recommend that everyone start with the Blueprint Armageddon series, which unfortunately he took off of YouTube and is now paywalled, but there are things on SoundCloud. But anyways, in case you want to be a proper pirate, or proper free Buddha.
Arr.
But, so, that is, it's 6 episodes, I think it's over 24 hours in total length. Like, each episode is between 3 to 4 hours. But it is so good. It's like, it is a good series about World War I, and oh my god, and it really hooks you in. And, god, I cannot recommend Hardcore History enough. If you want history, but you don't want it to be boring, and, like, do you remember...
But Graham, history's never boring.
Have you seen Blueprint Armageddon? Have you seen that series? Is that one of the ones you watched?
No, I haven't seen that specific one. I've seen other episodes they've done, but I haven't seen the World War I stuff.
It was so brutal. Like, it was heart-wrenchingly brutal. And one interesting part was, when he talked about how the soldiers coped with their situation and how they really, like... Basically, how do you have fun in a world without fun? So in one British trench line, there was a running gag where every single chunk of a body part they found belonged to some guy named Bill. Because people don't realize this, but when artillery hits you, especially when it directly hits you, limbs go flying. And it could be like these weak old limbs that smell like death. Like, remember, the Death Corpse Priest came from somewhere. But like, yeah. The joke was, like, hey, I found Bill's head! I found Bill's arm! And, there was one particular one I remember, too.
The sort of thing a slightly insane, war-weary...
It is. And, like, I remember there was, like, a quote from a journalist describing these men who grew up with poetry and going to bed with prayer every night have been reduced to, like, savages, the lowest form of humanity who find joy in just depravity of the battlefield. Oh, I was wondering when the boss was gonna show up.
This is just like my Japanese animes!
He did do a series on Japan too. I haven't finished it, but I made sure to, like, download it prematurely. And let me tell you something, Japanese history is fun. Like, you probably don't know much.
I know a little bit about Japanese history, probably not as much as I should.
Like, what era? Like, modern Imperial Japanese
history?
Just
the old, Sengoku Jidai, like, around the sort of 16th, 17th centuries, and then later the Boshin War. Mostly those two periods.
Most of what I know is...
But there's so much more!
Most of what I know is the Edo period and in Imperial Japan. And let me tell you something, Imperial Japan...
Yeah.
Have you ever wondered how badly a country needs to fuck up in order to get maliciously nuked twice? Like, holy shit, Imperial Japan was such a fucking train wreck. Like, it... Okay, picture, if you will...
They were trying their best!
Picture, if you will, a culture that was rewarded for basically being fanatically obsessed with nationalism to the point where they can get away with assassinating prime ministers. Because they said, I did what I thought was right for the emperor.
That sounds an awful lot like Trump's America to me.
No, but like, so if you wrap yourself in the flag and say you did it for the good of the empire and for the emperor, the god emperor of weebkind, you could get away with literally murder of a politician. And they even tried to crack down on it at one point, because a prime minister straight up died. Not like some member of parliament or things, like, no, a prime minister. And keep in mind, this is Imperial Japan, a very totalitarian fascist state. They let the assassins go because the people petitioned. The people petitioned, and they obeyed that. This is a dictatorship!
Based and assassin pilled?
But it's like, it's like, I thought the whole point of a dictatorship was that the people fear the government, not the other way around! Like, and that was just...
Hey man, sometimes you just gotta roll with it.
And that was just on the home front. I'm not gonna go into the graphic details about the colonies, but let me just say this. Imagine, if you will, like, a military that was not held responsible for anything. Like, the government could not control the military. They just did what they thought they should do for the glory of the Emperor, and the government is not allowed to do anything about it, and they don't listen to the government.
Whoa, dude. Whoa, dude. You're acting like you've never impaled a Malaysian baby on a bayonet and then eaten it. You know? Get off your high horse.
Is that something that Japan did? Because that sounds exactly like something Japan would do in World War II.
Allegedly.
I can believe it.
Also, really.
I've seen the kind of shit that Imperial Japan did, and holy shit. It's like, this is the country that gave us, like, fucking slice of life anime. What happened? Aside from nuclear radiation.
Well, they did that after they'd been knocked into submission.
Exactly.
It was a different time.
Yeah, it's like, Imperial Japan really is a case study for, like, social psychology, and it's like, how rational people can be carried away to do, like, extreme things.
Really makes you think.
Yeah.
Are you guys still playing?
Oh, Dizaster, you're here.
If it were me,
Yes,
personally... Oh my god.
I did recently arrive.
Yeah, about, like, 2 hours late.
Unfortunately, I did
No,
not...
that's
I was
fashionably
not
late.
aware of what time this was actually starting.
I
I had some other assumption that it was starting at 7 p.m., but...
Well, it would be, but Dread's here, and we gotta accommodate time zones.
Yes, that's true.
Hello, everyone.
If I
My name's DreadAnon.
yeah, if I forgot to tell you, it was my deepest apology.
Let me check if you just forgot, or if I'm just an idiot.
It wouldn't be the first time I forgot to tell someone important details. Like, oh my god, the amount of times I've thought I agreed with the collab with Ena, only for it to, like, be proven false. And she's just like, what? We didn't plan this.
Yeah, we totally planned it. What are you talking about? Yeah, I literally
We mostly
woke
just
up.
died a lot, so...
Oh yeah, the amount of failure and death. By the way, I forgot to start stream for like 20 minutes.
Okay, so you did say 12.
Yeah.
Okay, I just wasn't paying attention. I guess.
Mistakes were made.
Cool.
Yeah.
You did say 12 p.m. That was my bad.
That was your oof.
My apologies.
And Ena overslept. You know what's funny? Every time, like, I'm done with the collab with Ena, it's like, okay, I'm gonna go to bed. She says weak. And I know it's just a joke, but it's like, oh yeah, and now she oversleeps.
You know, the worst part is the hypocrisy.
By the way, Dizaster, you heard that Ted Kaczynski died, right?
The what?
Ted Kaczynski.
No.
Oh, man. Yeah, the internet's favorite terrorist died yesterday.
What the hell?
Would you like to fill him in?
My ass is unaware.
Okay, there once was a man named Ted Kaczynski.
Theodore James
And
Kaczynski.
this isn't a limerick, I'm just starting that way. He did not like technology one bit. So in order to stop people's reliance on technology, he decided to bomb the heck out of them.
Well, he did like technology, and
to
he was
mix results.
he was apparently a very genius mathematician, but the glowies got to him first. And gaslit
You can't
him.
blame everything on the glowies. You know, at some point you have to say,
Okay, this
hey,
is-
man, maybe bombing people isn't a great idea.
I know,
You
but
know, not.
obviously not, but just think what would happen if he didn't get wrapped up in a CIA plot. The basic
Okay, I don't know. I think it would take a little bit more than just like being forcibly administered LSD to make you, you know,
Again,
mail
I'm
bombs
pretty
to
sure.
people.
I'm pretty sure it was like gaslighting. That was the experiment done on him. Was just breaking his mind, and not in the fun way, not in the hentai way.
Oh my god.
So, Dizaster, you know what MK Ultra was?
Yes.
So you know it was like a.
More or less.
It was the U.S. government's attempt to try and create like sleeper agents or like the perfect patriot or some shit.
The ultimate form of gaslight girl boss gatekeep.
So there were a few different methods they tried. I think they basically invented LSD out of MK Ultra, and they did a bunch of other things. I wouldn't be surprised if Polybius was part of it.
Polybius?
Oh, you've never heard of Polybius?
Oh, no, I have not.
Oh lord.
Oh, let me tell you about the oldest
It's a
video
game
game.
that kills ya.
Let me tell you about the oldest video game creepypasta. Alright? It was an arcade machine called Polybius. I forget. I know the developer worked on some other famous arcade game. It's the one where you drive a tank, and it's like in a first-person perspective. And it had these like weird trippy visuals. There was only like one machine in some like town, like some obscure like flyover state town. And it was had this like trippy imagery and stuff. It was like basically, it looked like hypnosis, apparently. And kids would play this game, and then not too long afterwards, they would be found dead. Like they'd commit suicide. And it was all like,
Dun, dun, dun.
yeah, this game was linked to a series of suicides, and what's really weird is a bunch of guys took the game one day and just left. And the developer who made the game died mysteriously.
Like some fucking Lavender Town type shit.
Yeah. Like, it is...
But real.
Like, it's an actual conspiracy theory, and it could have been
Except
part
not
of
really.
MK Ultra.
Really real. I don't know, man.
Anyways,
Well,
Dread,
You
you
know,
have...
after all this MK Ultra talk, the CIA are gonna have their eye on you.
By the way, Dread, are you...
Extrajudicially.
Yeah, I already have their eye on me. It's alright.
by the way, Dread, do you still have energy to continue?
I think I'm gonna have to buy out because the air in my house is starting to take on the quality of soup because it is very humid, and I think I'm going to die.
That's fair. And as for me,
unless I get a drink
I
of
want
water.
to... My girlfriend's gonna wake up soon, and I want to spend birthday with her.
That is quite alright.
So sorry, Disaster, but
Whoa,
if you
you
want
want to spend your birthday with your girlfriend instead of playing video games?
Yes.
Whoa.
What a loser.
the fucking Chad
that's
versus Sojak, bad thing good? Yes. That's I have that
Exactly.
somewhere on my phone where it's just like a poorly drawn Sojak in chat and just says bad thing good, yes.
Well, that's quite alright. Apologies for messing up the times.
That's alright. But at
There
least
will
you're
be
here.
other opportunities.
Exactly.
Yes, I will say I did just wake up.
You too? Because Anna woke up like an hour ago.
Well, I usually sleep in quite a bit.
Anyways,
So-
thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Dread, for being here 2 weeks in a row.
Not a problem. Anytime, as usual. Always happy to hop on, shoot some heretics, and disseminate some conspiracy theories to the good audience members.
Yep, thank you everyone for watching. If you want to check out Dizaster and Ena, their links are in the description below. Same with DreadAnon, obviously. And thank you all for coming. See you next time. Bye.
Goodbye, everyone.